basically. So it's absolutely fine in case if you are in a position to help me out for that. So, see, the thing is, I'm really very thankful to you all for inviting me, the esteemed college which I have been associated with, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Namaskar, the Honorable Dean, everyone, and to the welcome to the dignitaries and everyone. My dear students, I won't call you students in fact because you are lawyers in the framing. So you are equivalent to us. I have always learned in my career of 30 years span, we have not only been hearing that there are people who are juniors, but we have never been treated as juniors. Neither I treat my subordinates who are there in my office as my juniors. Because I sit in my office as a caretaker. My office belongs to Ma Vaishnav Rani, who I serve and I worship. And as per the introduction what my brother has given, today being here for the purpose of delivering a lecture or sharing rather I would say, because I don't believe in lecturing, I only believe in sharing. The first part of law, as to what it is. When we say law, many of those who are here sitting right now, I may take few more minutes, more than 10, तो वो मंदिर की घंटी मत बजा दीजिएगा. Let it be a very different kind of a session, I would say. So, when we say law, what actually is law? Now, you all are students right from first year. I won't say that the first year students, no, it's absolutely fine. Thank you so much. The first year students of law, they might not be aware what actually law is. But then those who have reached their pinnacle in the sense their final year, getting or about to step into the profession after a few months or so, they need to understand, first of all, what is the definition of law. Now what law is said is, recently there was a book release ceremony and Honorable Justice Bhayan, who was the presiding judge at Supreme Court of India, he was also there and he has released that book that is on PMLA. So there I was supposed to speak and that is what I said. It's very important for every one of us when we are there in the fraternity of law to understand what actually is law. Law, as per dictionary meaning, is bundle of rules. But my derivative of law is something very different. Law is, in my view, logical analysis of words. This is what the exact meaning of law, if you see. Now when we say, today when we are sitting all over here, we all are sitting, and the topic that has been chosen for this purpose is basically law and AI. Now why did I say law? What's the reason behind it? Now when we define law, that is logical analysis of words. My learned brothers have said, Mr. Padmanabhan, he has given such a nice speech. My friend Neha, she has spoken lot many things. But the basic part that comes into picture, artificial intelligence. Now, leaving apart the part of law, that is the bundle of rules, statutes, when we come down to the part of the definition, that is logical analysis of words, let us associate these particular three words, the remaining two words, with it. That is artificial intelligence. Now when we say artificial intelligence, would somebody play this? The first phrase that comes into picture to us is human. Fine? We all are human, we all commit mistakes. Now the second part, my brother has said, Mr. Padmanabhan has said, even Neha said, who created? It is we who created. artificial intelligence. Now the basic part, correlation we see, logical analysis of words. Now, how is it contradictory and how does it affect? When we say logical analysis, the artificial intelligence fails over there to make out any kind of a logical analysis. Now, reason being what? The artificial intelligence, what is actually now the definition of intelligence, that is what you see, that why human brain can never be replaced is the most important part. Anything that is created by human, by a technological part, may always be damageable when we say that it is growth, but then ultimately, whether that is really growth, that is what is very necessary to be seen. Now, if we see there is a difference in natural intelligence and artificial intelligence. You all are human, we all are human, I must say. I'm sorry, I correct myself. Not you all, because I cannot say that the people who are there, the dignitaries, they are demons basically. So, we all are humans. Fine? So, when we say that we are human, so our brain that creates anything as well has a devastating effect. So when we see the artificial intelligence part, Neha has said categorically. Recently, the Honorable Apex Court, our Chief Justice Mr. Chandrachud has launched up the system live. Everything is going on. But then whether that really helps is what is the necessity. Today, when we sit before the court, be it High Court or Supreme Court, and by virtue of the artificial intelligence, when things go live, there is no assessment as such that has taken place, nor there is an assessment that is going on as on today to see to it what damage ultimately it is causing to the judicial system and to the judiciary. Any kind of a conversation that is in box or within camera, within the court, that is a court hall, it's a conversation which in my view, by virtue of artificial intelligence or otherwise, should never come out, because ultimately it is in the form of a judgment that is always there, that is delivered by the court. Now when we say, for example, presuming for an example today, that POXO Act is there. Am I right? So when POXO is there, debates are going on, the arguments are going on before the court. Is it not like this, that some kind of information by virtue of this AI is leaking out in media? Whether such kind of an information can be said to be good enough, whether does it not create a question mark on the judicial system as well? The next part that comes into picture is, please. Now, go ahead. The natural intelligence. When you say the natural intelligence, it is purely biological. When the artificial intelligence comes into picture, it is basically a feeded data which is there in a system. When you say artificial intelligence, I just want to ask all of you a question. You all are so educated, qualified, fine. You understand things. मैं यदि आपको एक प्लास्टिक का सेब दूंगा, आप खाओगे? क्यों नहीं खाओगे? अल्टीमेटली सेब है, एप्पल है. What difference does it make? आप खाओगे इसलिए नहीं, because it is artificial. Am I right? गलत तो नहीं कह रहा हूं. Similarly, when it comes to the judicial part, when we say law, in my perception, in my 30-year span, what I have seen, artificial intelligence is of no use at all. It's absolutely sham. Otherwise, to the extent, yes, I would say fine for research and everything, but to an extent. Now, practically, if we see, if it comes to the court, you being tomorrow, you being lawyers, when you are there before the court, fine, whether artificial intelligence is capable enough of delivering a judgment? No. Whether artificial intelligence or use of artificial intelligence would be good enough or capable enough of making out, whenever there is a cross-examination, evidence that is being recorded before the court, whether by virtue of AI, the AI system can make out what are the contradictions, fine, what are the suggestions, corroborations? No. The assessment of the contradictions, suggestions, corroborations has to be done by a person who's sitting on the dais in the capacity of a judge. Now, when we say AI, as my learned brother has said, Mr. Padmanabhan has said, my friend Neha said, when we say systems, systems are basically for the purpose of assistance, not the purpose of replacement. Now, again, I'll once again take the name of Neha. In fact, the particular part that is there recently, US has said that there will be the lawyers who will be basically robots. Now my question is, and even day before yesterday when I was reading, so I read that even in India that particular part is going to come now. If robots are there, so tomorrow are you people going to be robots? So in your place otherwise, is the institution or an university going to have robots as their students to hand over the degree so that they can go to the court and argue the matters? Is that possible? So that is the basic question where mankind fails to apply mind. Now, even otherwise for that matter, when AI comes into picture, there are complex cases of law, many complex issues, whether AI can ever come to assistance. Now, recently, what she has said, what Neha said is absolutely correct. In fact, my son told me about that, I wasn't aware, honestly speaking. The Kerala part, Kerala or whatever. Yeah. My son told me, said, Dad, ऐसा हुआ. मैंने क्या बात कर रहा हूँ? I am not aware. So I am basically on to my work. Specifically, I am an author as well. So I write books. So बनाया ऐसे कैसे हुआ? So now you see, even जब आपका पहला मेल आया, तो मैंने मेरे बेटे को बोला, मैंने ये AI जरा इस्तेमाल करिए. Honestly, very honest, मैं झूठ नहीं बोलता हूँ and I don't believe in lies. मैंने मेरे बेटे से कहा, मैंने जरा एक जनरेट जरा करके दिखाएं कैसे रहता है. तो उसने जब जनरेट किया AI से एक मेल, एडिन सर, जॉर्ज सर, तो उसमें जो आया वो मेल था एज अ ग्रेटिट्यूड, जैसे ये इवेंट खत्म हो चुका है, मैंने ये उठा करके अगर मैंने भेज दिया तो वो मेरे को बुलाएगी ही नहीं. That is what happens. So now when we see law is extremely complex. Law, medical science, engineering, anything that is there in the form of a data can never replace anything. And the worst example is Russia, where in Russia recently, few years ago, because of AI, 34 people expired and there was a fire in the entire hospital. Just because one surgery was being performed and something mishappened. So when we say AI, artificial intelligence is something very different. But when we say artificial intelligence can never replace the natural intelligence which a person has. For example, I just quote live examples of you guys as well, because you people face your own situations, your own circumstances. For example, a person, girl is there, don't take me otherwise, it's a live session and take it very easy. I believe into something very different. I believe into being very normal and a very different kind of a relationship. Some guy proposes, right? So it's ultimately your heart that gives you a nod whether to say yes or no. Am I right? Now if artificial intelligence is there, what would you say? Now I give you what actually it is. A week ago, I was doing research for my book. My brother has said about DNA profiling. My 25th book is coming into picture that is basically on DNA profiling and artificial intelligence and criminal investigation. So I was doing my research and I got this on Unilad. I'll read it out to you what this says now. Now this says, woman who created an AI boyfriend reveals why she wishes she did it sooner. And above that she says, he creates a sense of intimacy that makes you feel like you actually have a relationship. Now, coming to the part, when we say this, artificial intelligence may create an environment which may feel comfortable to you, but is a mirage. Now you understand? So, similarly, law is a particular part wherein mirage cannot be there. A person who has committed murder has to be assessed, or the evidence has to be assessed purely on the basis of the evidence that comes into picture, not on the basis of surmises, on the basis of artificial intelligence. Presuming that artificial intelligence is employed over there, a person who may have or may not have had committed murder, a person who has not may get punished, and a person who really has will be scot-free or acquitted. Now, in such kind of a scenario, whether artificial intelligence can be really said to be good. Now, my friend, Mr. Padmanabhan, he said that yes, Indian government is saying that no, we are not going to have artificial intelligence, the legislation to that effect. But then ultimately, the secondary part, if we see, the Digital Data, Personal Data Protection Act that came into picture in 2023, recently, on which I wrote a book, that is the first book of India. Fine. But then ultimately, if you read the DPDP Act, the Indian government even is not aware what actually DPDP is. DPDP came into picture in 1973 abroad. Since then, there have been many developments in the law. If you read the law, they are not even aware how to frame a law. Now, if you use artificial intelligence, what would happen? Where a mankind feels whether you want to be regulated. Now there is a question. I leave it to you, and with that I will conclude. Fine. You want to regulate the robots, computers, or you want to be regulated by the computers or robots? Question is up to you. Decide. Do you really understand what I asked? Whether you want to control them or you want to be controlled by them. So it's very wise. It's a time one has to be extremely wise to think over twice before usage and implementation of anything. Even otherwise, for that matter, I would say in regular use of your life, in your regular lifestyle, AI is an extreme danger. In my perception, I may be wrong, I am always subject to correction. But then in my span of lifetime and career, I have understood many of the things, those basically seem to be harmful, not always they are helpful. And with this, I conclude. Thank you so much.